Hey y'all, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I'm the Gen Z Accountant and welcome to another episode of Real Talk with the Gen Z Accountant. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about my experience when it came to sitting on money, making a large lump sum of money, and saving a large lump sum of money, and watching it vanish before my eyes. Talk about my experience and some things I wish I knew that you will now know if you watch the whole video, that will prevent you from going through what I went through, and ways for you to make money off of your money even when you have it sitting there in a bank account. Let's start off with what happened to me when I had made a large lump sum of money. I saved, I'm not gonna say made, I saved, I mean I did make it, but I saved a large lump sum of money and it vanished before my eyes. So about 4 years ago is when I first became, oh no, 4 or 5 years ago I first became, 4 or 5 years ago I first became a hairstylist. And I was doing very great. Like, it was during the pandemic. I was making a lot of money. And I wasn't really doing nothing because of the pandemic. We couldn't really do nothing. So I was making a lot of money. I wasn't spending it. So I was able to, save. And I was also, just getting money in general. So I made a nice, I was able to save a nice chunk sum of money. So, I saved a nice amount of money. And my lifestyle at that moment, it wasn't lavish. Like, I wasn't just taking trips and going everywhere here and there, buying designer stuff. I wasn't doing none of that. But what I was doing was I had brought a new car. So my new car payment was like, at first I went from having no payments, but my car payment was like almost like probably like $500 something. I had my insurance I had to pay. I had just regular bills and stuff in general. And I was buying food a lot. Whenever I wanted to eat something, I was ordering it on DoorDash. And I was buying clothes. I was just buying regular basic stuff, but very frequently. And I was upgrading my life a little bit. And it caused me to end up spending that money and not have nothing to show for it. And I feel like reflecting on it now and what I now know moving forward. Oh, and then let me pause real quick. So I made a lot of money, ended up spending it just on just regular random stuff, like buying stuff on Amazon, stuff like that. And within like I don't know the time frame, but it wasn't that long. Like probably within 1 to 2 years, that large sum of money was like gone. And reflecting on it now, I feel like the issue I had was that I never had like a specific goal of what I wanted to use that money for. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna just save money and not spend it. But like I said, I didn't put like a purpose or a name to that money. So it was just, to me in my head, it was just like a large lump sum of money that was just here for me to spend eventually. Because out of common sense is that you have money to spend it. That's the purpose of money, to an extent. Like, you spend it or you just do something with it, basically. Spend it, reinvest it, whatever. But in my head at that time was like, I must have this money, and it's just there. It's just there, honestly. And then I just like unconsciously was just like spending. I didn't like put a purpose to my money. I feel like that was like the issue. I didn't put a purpose to the money. I didn't have like specific goals of what I wanted to use the money for. So, and then I didn't have like the financial management of paying myself a specific amount each month and using budgets and stuff. So it was just like a free for all with the money. Like, whenever I wanted to pay for my bills, I would just take out the money, pay for my bills. Whenever I wanted food, I would just go get the money, buy food. Clothes, same thing. Like, it was just no structure to me and my money. So, which caused me to spend majority of it, not even on like big lavish stuff. Like, I went on like one trip that I paid for within that time frame. And the trip was like $800. So it was nowhere near how much I saved. So it wasn't even like, big lavish things, which is what you typically think when someone feel like they blew some money, like they bought it on like big expensive stuff. But no, I blew it on just living every day and not using the money to reinvest and make money. So I feel like that was my issue. But I now know, and I'm thankful that, now, and being young too, I'm glad I had caught it early on. So now when I make even more than what I saved, I won't go through that and blow it or whatever. So thankful for that. But now that I know that and I experienced that, I'm here. Oh, actually, and then even in my book, let me just, talk about my book real quick. On page 45, I go a bit more in detail on what happened. Actually, on the first chapter, the first section, I talk about it more in detail. And then on page 45, I say that when I go through irresponsible habits of like business owners and stuff, I say taking money out of your business bank account as needed for personal purchases. So I say that this is one of the worst things you could do as a business owner, yet it seems to be the most common. As mentioned in my origin story in section 1, this habit contributed to losing thousands of dollars. And I go more into detail about that, but this book is great. I tell y'all real life experiences, not no fluff, not no chat GPT stuff. Like, I tell y'all how it really is in life when it comes to money and being a business owner and accountant. So check it out, linked in the description down below for the ebook and the physical copy. But I'm glad I went through all of that. I'm not saying I'm glad, because I would have rather not have. But at least I went through it, and now I'm here to tell y'all some solutions and what I would have wished I did when I had saved a large lump sum of money. And I'm gonna tell y'all some pros and cons about like saving money when it comes to taxes and stuff like that. So that way y'all can prevent some things from happening to you. So let's start off with talking about how I could have fixed my issue, which I kind of already spoke about already, but how I could have prevented me from going through that, which is I could have placed a name to my money, placed a purpose to my money. I didn't have like any specific goals of what I wanted to do with the money. I think I said this already in my story, but I just knew that I had this large sum of money, and I don't really know what I wanted to do with it. So I feel like it would be a great idea for you as a business owner, or just someone who's not a business owner who just want to save money, is to place a name to the money you are saving. Meaning, if you know you want to build an emergency savings account, then, identify that large sum of money as an emergency savings account. Or if you want to save money for a home, let's say you need $10,000 for a down payment on a home, you got $5,000. Name that $5,000 as money for your down payment, because when you have a specific name to money, it's going to prevent you from spending it on things it's not meant to be spent on. It's like building like a friction between you and spending money. Because in your head, let's go off the scenario I just said with the down payment on a home. You got $5,000 sitting in the bank account, but you decide you have a desire of wanting to buy your shopping cart for your clothes, and you know you got this money, and you got this $5,000 sitting here. So you're gonna start thinking like, "Ooh, I really want this shopping cart. I want to buy these clothes, but if I buy these clothes using my money I'm saving for this down payment, I'm going to delay myself from getting at home. I'm going to be staying at my parents' house even longer than I want to, which is going to cause you to have to live under their rules. You don't have the 100% freedom you want to have, or if it's like a situation where you don't really get along with your parents, you got to deal with them even longer. So it's like you're going to think about those things before you actually buy the shopping cart. Well, you should at least. So, and then it's gonna cause you to have to like weigh your options. Like, should I buy it? Should I not buy it? So you're delaying that buying process. Okay. So, yeah. So that's why you should definitely put a name to your money. Now let's move on to the tax implications when it comes to sitting on money. The more money you sit on or you keep and you don't spend to reinvest in your business, the higher your taxable income is. Because if you didn't know, as a business owner, you're taxed on the income you make after you pay for business expenses, or after you like reinvest the money into like, either buying more inventory or some type of courses or classes or whatever like that. As a business owner, it is your best interest to try to figure out what can you do with this profit that you got, so that way you can keep the money to yourself. Now, you may not be keeping it and holding it as cash, but you're going to keep it to make your business better or make yourself better, so that way you can pay less money to taxes or to the government. So let's give an example back to the $5,000. Let's say we save $5,000 profit from our business, right? We can decide we could sit on this money and just have it sit there and roll into the next year. So now we have to pay taxes on that $5,000, increasing our tax bracket and then increasing how much we got to pay in taxes. Or within that same year, we can decide to use that $5,000 to buy more inventory, or to buy new equipment, or pay for like a mentorship or something like that. So now that money that we have is converting to either an asset, which isn't taxed, or it's converting to a business expense, which is going to lower your taxable income. Now you're paying less taxes to the government. So these are things to think about as a business owner, so that way you can keep more of your money for yourself, for your business, for the growth of your business, and improve your business at the same time. So just keep that in mind when it comes to sitting on money as a business owner. And the last topic or subtopic I want to talk about when it comes to sitting on money is the devaluing of the dollar when you have your money sitting in a bank account, a regular checking account, or even a regular savings account, because they barely give you any money too. So let's think about the price of bread when in the 1950s versus now. If you Google it, the price of bread was between, on the high end, I know it said 30 cents. I was ready to look it up, but I can't remember on the low end how much it was. On the high end, it was 30 cents for a loaf of bread. Today, the price of a loaf of bread is $6.99. I had Googled it at a random grocery store. $6.99, basically $7. So 30 cents versus $7 is buying you the same thing, but in different time periods. So that's going to show you inflation is a real thing. So to show you the devaluing of a dollar, let's do some math real quick. It's going to be real quick, so stay with me, okay? So let's say we got $5,000 and we have $5,000 to buy as much bread as we can in 1950 and in 2025. So in 1950, we would do 5,000 divided by 30 cents. We would have been able to buy 16,666 loaves of bread in 1950. In 2025, let's do 5,000 divided by 7. We're only able to buy 714 loaves of bread for the same amount of money. So you went from being able to buy 16,666 loaves of bread. That's feeding 16,666 people. We could have gave 16,666 people a loaf of bread. Versus now in 2025, we could only give 714 people a loaf of bread off of $5,000. If that's not showing you the devaluing of a dollar, I don't know what else to tell you. But this is why, it's important to find a way for your money to make money so it can continue to grow. And at least I feel like you should have like something like a high yield savings account. If you don't know how to reinvest and do stocks and, all this fancy type of stuff, not gonna say fancy because it ain't fancy. That's something that everybody should be able to do. I don't know how to do it, but it should be something we should all know how to do. If you don't want to, or you don't know how to invest in stocks or like buy a business and do all that type of stuff, at least take your money out of the checking account or a regular savings account and put it into a high yield savings account. A high yield savings account is like a regular savings account, but the percentage you're getting is way higher than a traditional bank. Traditional banks are like Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Chase. These are traditional banks. They're giving between 0.01% and like 0.03% on a savings account, which is pennies. Versus if you get a high yield savings account, one specifically that I know of is called Genius Bank. They're giving, at the time of recording this video, they're giving 4.2% for your money just sitting in their bank account. You could take it in and out however much you want, and you're making a couple dollars. Now, it's not life-changing money. It ain't life-changing. But at least your money is making something versus nothing every year. And it's devaluing in its purchase value year after year because you want to decide to sit it in a you want to decide to sit it in a regular checking account or a regular savings account. I hope you get what I'm saying. Because I didn't know about a high yield savings account. Like, I'm just now learning about this, like, within, like, the past 7 months or whatever. Or maybe a little longer. Maybe, like, a year to 7 months to a year. I'm just now learning about a high yield savings account. So, it's like, try to do something to prevent yourself from devaluing your dollar. Because you think you're doing a great thing by saving money, which it is. I'm not going to say it's not a great thing to save money. It is a great thing to save money. But if you can go a step further and try to make a couple dollars off your money, check out a high yield savings account today, please. So that way you can make a couple dollars off of your money. It just makes sense to get a high yield savings account versus a regular savings account where you're getting pennies. That's like a slap in the face. A bank want to give you pennies for allowing them to use your money while it's sitting in an account? It's like, dang, you know, you could give me a, you know, couple dollars a month so I can give me something to eat at least. You know, like, but pennies, I can't get nothing for a penny. Literally, you can't get nothing for a penny. But they want to give you a penny for having your money sit in their bank so that they could use it. It don't make sense. So yeah, check out high yield savings accounts if you haven't already. They are a cool thing to check, you know, just to see how you can make a couple dollars for your money sitting there. And it kind of give you like, you know, a feeling of like investing just a little bit, you know, like kind of making money off your money. It kind of, you like, you know, that just a little taste of it, how it feel to just have money sit and you make money from it. And one thing to keep in mind though, high yield savings accounts, the rates can fluctuate depending on, you know, how the economy is going. So right now it could be 4.2%, but it could drop down to like 3.8% or something like that. But still, 3.8% is better than 0.01%. Like, that's crazy. So I hope you was able to learn something new in this episode of Real Talk with the Gen Z Accountant. If you did, give me a like, please, or share, and subscribe if you want more content like this. And let me know down below in the comments if you learned something new, because I'm very intrigued on if you did or didn't. And yes, let's stop ourselves from overspending and not putting a name to our money and not factoring in inflation when it comes to money, so that way we could build wealth for ourselves and our family and stuff like that. So if you want more content like this, like I said, give me a like and subscribe. And oh, one last thing, I know I gotta talk about my book. If you need help with, you know, your finances when it comes to being a business owner and what you should be doing in your business as far as like accounting, then check out my book, Loose Money Gets Lost. It's now, oh, it goes, this title, it goes perfect with today's video, because loose money will get lost. Like if you don't put a name to it, it's going to get lost in your spending habits. So go ahead, check it out. It's linked down below in the description, the ebook and the physical copy on Amazon. You can now check it out today. So that is all I have for y'all in this video. I will see y'all in the next week's video. Peace.